Japan just discovered Crunchyroll's woke Western localization of anime, and they're not happy. By ref, yeah, we're gonna look at this. Yeah, if you didn't know, Crunchyroll has been doing weird stuff with their localization and other stuff as well already. We know this. We have watched this for a while, but it's getting more and more interesting because now what they've apparently found out is also that access to Crunchyroll in Japan is apparently blocked. It's geo blocked. And I have the theory that this is because they don't want the Japanese and the creators of these shows and anime and stuff to find out that they're butchering and mistreating their work. But that's just a theory. Also, please consider like and subscribing. I appreciate it.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the absolute destruction of Crunchyroll, which of course is a massive streaming service for anime that's...
Yeah, nobody's going to destroy Crunchyroll. They're too massive. They're too massive. They have like half of the... They have like a monopoly, right? They have like half of the market. You're not stopping these people.
received a very high volume of deserved criticism over the years for various reasons, but right now they're getting absolute
Localization, treatment of VAs, treatment of fan mails to VAs. Yeah, we have it. Anybody remember when they essentially threw away fan mail for VAs and stuff? That was a thing a while back. I think we reacted to that. I think that was a Hero Hate video.
absolutely bodied on multiple fronts for various controversies, like another massive data breach that includes about 7 million users' data that has now been largely sold off. On top of that, it's been revealed that Japanese audiences are geo-blocked, meaning they can't even see the Western localized versions of anime that have completely vandalized the source material, and many people think this is an attempt to hide these vandalizations in these various localizations.
I want that you translate word for word, bar for bar, even if I don't understand it because I'm not a local. I'd prefer that than adding male fragility into it. I prefer that than throwing words like patriarchy in it. I prefer that than throwing any buzzwords into it. I prefer that than just any political agenda. Word for word, bar for bar.
On top of that, they're getting even more criticism for their anime awards for 2026 because of the judges panel, which includes individuals like this whose biggest accomplishment is promoting DEI in the realm of anime. It is absolutely no mystery as to why people are continuing to cancel their Crunchyroll subscriptions. I really don't know how anyone is still...
I got rid of mine the moment I found out that they're geo blocking, because at this point it's sus. At this point it's just weird. I got rid of it. I don't need it.
Still using this service. And if you are someone who canceled your subscription, you have a little extra cash around, well, I know a very good spot to use it. My official Rev plushie. Yes, through Uwu Market. This is now live. I hinted at this a couple days ago. Today is the big day. This is my plushie campaign. As you can see, this is the little gremlin right here. And if you want to support the channel, this is an amazing way to do it. You guys know I've had some interesting experiences with multiple sponsors over the last year, but Uwu Market has had my back all throughout everything, and they are incredibly based for continuing to work with me and support me. You can see the actual page here. We have to raise 100 units sold to fully fund the campaign, and it's been out for like an hour and we're already at 30%. So it's looking pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, you can pledge just $3 now. And if the campaign were to fail, you would get refunded. But if it is successful, you will then get charged for the full amount of the plushie. That's how it works. But again, we're 30% funded with a month to go. So I am not worried at all. I've met the full fundraising limits for every campaign I've ever done with every company. So this one will definitely be a success as well. So make sure to check it out. I mean, what else can I say? This gremlin is looking for a home, and this is a great way to support the channel. And also, my wife, Darling Straub, has a plushie for her VTuber model as well. Same sort of setup here with the fundraising and the goals, and she's off to an amazing start as well. So if you want to check hers out, I'll put a link to both of these in the description. Shout out to Ooh Market again for supporting this campaign and the people who
Okay, these are adorable. I probably wouldn't get one, but these are adorable. At least they're adorable.
are helping support this channel by getting one of these. Now, let's talk about today's topic, and that is Crunchyroll. Okay, so 2026 has been a really bad year, and honestly, every year seems to be a bad year for Crunchyroll, but this one in particular has been rough. They started off by increasing their prices. Again, they're
Another reason why I cancel it, because increasing the prices once more while the quality essentially, right? You increase prices but you get nothing more, right? Which I find questionable. It's also like you increase the price but the quality is not there. There's nothing there that there's nothing there that warrants a price increase at all. There's no there's many anime that don't have another language option. There's many anime that just don't have an English sub. They have like a sub in like in like Turkish, and I'm like, bro, I hear good things about these, but then they have like they're like subbed in Turkish or like they're subbed in like Korean. I'm like, huh? What are we doing? But yeah, that's another reason why I got rid of Crunchyroll. I'm just like, pay more, get less, or get the same, or even get less, right? Because apparently, they even like took away the free version, quote unquote, where you had ads. But anyways, it's just weird. This for a monopoly, they're handling things very weirdly.
much like Netflix. It seems like every couple of months, maybe year or so, they hike up their prices, and people are just done with it because the quality of this service is really bad in so many different ways. And now, after hiking up the price,
Heka says they breached Crunchyroll, stole nearly 7 million user data. Yay! That's cool. That's wonderful. That's definitely what we need. Bro, at this point, whether my data gets stolen while I watch something on an illegal site or my data gets stolen while I pay $8.99, doesn't matter. There's no difference. If I get a virus, or if it just, my data gets taken, it doesn't matter. There's no difference. The result is the same. My data is somewhere out there. That doesn't obviously include all the other issues that this platform has. But every single time, it's weird that this platform particularly is in more trouble ever at all, in more issues than Netflix, than Amazon Prime, than Disney Plus, than Warner Bros. Whatever, the Apple TV thing, right? It's over every time there's something going wrong. It's always Crunchyroll.
hackers have breached their company and stole nearly 7 million users' data. 7 million. And how's that working out? Not very good. Okay, clearly they don't have a lot of protections to keep this stuff from being breached. And I've talked about this before. This is not the first time this has happened. I pointed this out in 2023. There was a massive class action lawsuit regarding user information. And they, alongside Sony, received a class action lawsuit. They lost, and they were giving out money to millions and millions of subscribers because they put their users' personally identifiable information at risk. And back in 2023, I flexed how much of a Crunchyroll hater I was by showing people exactly how to get the $30 you were entitled to as an eligible subscriber. But let's fast forward to the current and that data breach.
Yeah, it's also like, listen, it's also like, I see all these people like, why why are you watching, why are you doing anything, like, why do you support piracy? Why you're a pirate? Why you're a pirate? Why are you committing piracy? And I'm like, do you know why? Do you understand why? Because these websites, these illegal ones, have better protection than whatever this is. That's the reason why people do this. That's why people refuse to pay, right? Piracy is a service issue oftentimes, or an accessibility, which technically is also service, but like doesn't matter. But overall, I can see why it happens and why it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because these platforms don't know how to keep our data safe, let alone keep up the quality. And honestly, if I have to pay for butchered localization and bad voice acting, then how about no? How about just no? How about just going somewhere else? Wouldn't that be better?
The second one, I guess you could say. And now it appears that a lot of that data that was breached has been sold, obviously to not very reputable individuals. About 2 million customer records have been up for sale, and a single buyer purchased 1.2 million of them. So all those people are at risk, and some have already had their information sold off to a single buyer. That does not look very good, ladies and gentlemen. And as pointed out here in the replies, this is a very important thing to keep in mind. These data breaches keep happening, and they're still telling us to give them our IDs. And that is true for many, many different platforms and services. They want your full government ID and all of your information.
Which is interesting. So this is not streaming related, but it's very. I don't trust my government at all with anything. So we have a ticket in Germany that essentially lets you use trains wherever to wherever in the entire country, right? You can just use like regular regional trains to just go from like the end of the world in Germany to like Berlin if you desired so. Would probably be a bit annoying, but you could technically pull it off, right? That's the idea. That's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. Get it? Get it. Now here is the interesting part. They wanted me to so I could purchase this through official means. They wanted me to either upload my digital ID or give them my online banking information. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. And I didn't. Because then I used through third party means, I could use PayPal. I am not doing this. I am not giving this incompetent company, right, that runs this whole thing, my information. Because I'm pretty sure that they're not really caring about safety. I mean, the purchase sometimes doesn't even really work through it anyways to begin with, right? Purchasing tickets for like uh public transportation. So I wouldn't want to do this. People are weird. They truly are.
Just to use their service or platform, and then they get breached, almost guaranteed. We saw it with Discord, for example. That has been a massive disaster where they were asking for personal information like IDs, and then, of course, lo and behold, shortly
This comes, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but this comes from the Zuck. This comes from Meta. This comes from Mark Zuckerberg. Because Meta has issues getting brand deals and sponsorships and ads from other companies because they can no longer verify who is a actual user and who isn't. And if you use IDs, you can officially verify who is a actual human being. The only reason they are pushing this is so they can make more money. Because advertisers are not paying for bots, they're paying for real people. And if you don't know who the real people are, you're not gonna get those ads and that ad revenue. They are in multiple child safety like online law pushes. They are everywhere and they are pushing this. They push the Children's Online Safety Act in the UK. They are pushing the stuff in Europe. They're pushing the stuff in the US. It's the Zug. It's the Lizard Man that is pushing this. Remember who it is. It's Meta. How Meta this, Meta that. Has he ever met a fucking girl before? That is the question.
After they're breached, and now all this stuff is being sold and traded around on the internet. Terrible, terrible stuff. But, pointing out in the quote here, again, this is not like some random shot out of nowhere involving Crunchyroll, not a one-time thing. This is a continued pattern of ridiculous behavior. This user saying, it's genuinely insane to me that anyone still defends Crunchyroll at this point. Constant delays, episode delisting, and butchered subs. 2 separate class action lawsuits for mishandling data. Data breach they try to cover up. 1.2 million users' data from the breach sold to someone online. And of course, Crunchyroll, in their very smug attitude, I guess, decided now's the time to alert subscribers about potential phishing attempts. I mean, the call is coming from inside the house. You guys are putting people at risk. I don't think it's the potential phishing attempts that subscribers should be worried about. I think it's Crunchyroll itself giving over any sort of personal information clearly is not being protected very well. Now this gets even worse, and this one I find very interesting because of a lot of things we've talked about with anime localizations and how they've been butchered as they're localized for overseas audiences. As pointed out here, Crunchyroll is unavailable in Japan due to licensing restrictions. This geo-block means Japanese audiences never see the Western localized versions of anime where subtitles are often rewritten, content is censored, and dubs are altered without anyone noticing the changes. Now, this is important to keep in mind here. There's not a huge market for Western localizations in Japan. Obviously, they're not trying to watch Western localization.
Yeah, obviously they're not gonna try and watch stuff in English or like any other languages. But it's a bit weird that they're blocking the access entirely. That's a bit odd. That's a bit weird. Sounds like you're trying something to hide from the culture it comes from. That's pretty weird. Why would you do that? That's odd. I don't know. Seems honestly a little weird to me.
They have the source material there in Japan for them. Why would they be looking at Western localizations? But there's definitely a very sinister aspect of this, and people are making what I think is a fair judgment, saying that really hides all of these localizations where Western translators and localizers are butchering the Japanese source material and injecting awful humor and unnecessary memes and political agendas into the work. And that's why largely a lot of
I don't want to hear like the moment I hear like anything like modern slang, I'm committing I'm committing some kind of spoken atrocities, because bro, the moment I hear like skibbity riz, it's over. Like, it's over. I'm shutting off the anime. I'm never watching it again. The moment I hear skibbity riz, the moment I hear like male fragility, the moment I hear patriarchy, I'm immediately shutting this off and never touching it again. It is at that point. I'm at that point where I'm like, yep, we are very, very good. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's stupid. And I've seen modern slang like skibbity. Stop it. I've heard it. I've heard it before. I've heard it in anime before. I'm done.
this has gone unnoticed. As pointed out here, I receive a lot of messages from overseas about Crunchyroll, but it's geo-blocked and inaccessible from Japan, so it's pretty much an unknown world to most Japanese people. However, it's an issue that's very relevant to the overseas distribution of Japanese anime, so we should probably learn more about it. Please continue to share your knowledge. And this is also a really interesting time for this to happen. A couple days ago, I made a video talking about the great crossover between Japanese and American users, where due to some changes in the algorithm, some translated features that are getting better on Twitter, there's a lot of interaction between Japanese speakers and English speakers right now, and they're
Yep, there's overall a lot of interaction with people nowadays from different places. So Twitter implemented an auto translate feature that translates everything automatically for you. So like you could just be scrolling and then there's just a Turkish post being completely in like decently understandable or even pretty good English, right? And you can post something and they can see what you have responded to in English and Turkish. It's very interesting. It's really good. It's really useful. However, I have some issues with it. I'm scrolling and then I see a German post in English and I'm confused. Like that put me off. You can turn it off, right? You can turn it off for like if it's like your language, you can turn it off, right? I did that because like was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Is my brain fried? Am I stupid? Why is this? Why is this in? Because I would have responded to that text in English, even though the original post is in German, and that had me confused. They didn't notify anybody. Horrible. But it's true. Localization is getting worse because these people are not doing their job. Which is why they're likely going to be replaced by AI. Poor little Doug doesn't understand his own language. That's not what it was. That's not what it was. It was just confusing because it was like translated from German. I'm like, I would have now responded in this post in English, even though I'm German, and I would have responded in German then if I knew. It's more like confusing because it wasn't English.
Kind of learning about each other more than ever. And this is the type of stuff a lot of people have been trying to make Japanese users aware of, that these pieces of source material coming out of Japan, like anime and manga, are being absolutely butchered and vandalized as they're localized for a Western audience. A lot of Japanese users are not aware of this at all. There is a huge disconnect, and the fact that Crunchyroll, one of the biggest culprits of this, is geo-blocked for Japanese users, is one of the reasons why this has gone undetected. But as pointed out here, the site is accessible, but it looks like this. A presence that is both close and distance. And you can see, I mean, there's really just nothing to really do here. I mean, it's an inaccessible platform for them. They can get to it, but they're not getting any sort of idea of how it's being translated to overseas audiences. And as pointed out here in the quotes, Japanese rights holders should revoke Crunchyroll's licensing rights to these shows or take them to court for copyright infringement. They're literally geo-blocking Japanese audiences so they can rewrite and pervert the original stories to fit whatever self-insert agendas they want to push. And here is the classic example. If you're not familiar with some of these localizations.
Yeah. You remember that. Subs. What's with that outfit? Everyone was always saying something to me, so I tried toning down the exposure. How is it? You should try changing your body next. Right? That is the sub. That is what is said. It translates into written text. The dub does this. What are you wearing that for? Oh, those pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves, so I changed clothes. Give it a week, they'll be begging you to change back. Totally different. It's so the first line in both of these is like fine, right? But then the second and the third line are no longer there's no longer anything that like they're not the same anymore. This is not the same. Not the same thing is said, which is very interesting. Actually, now I want to watch Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Not because I'm necessarily interested in the anime, but I want to see if the German dub took that as well or not. I'm incredibly curious to find that out now. Huh, might be worth actually trying.
Here is the crown jewel of everything wrong with these Western localizations. So this is the properly translated subtitles, not localizations, just the regular subtitles that are translated. What's with the outfit? Everyone was saying something to me, so I tried toning it down or toning down the exposure. How is it? You should try changing your body next. Here is the localization where the Funimation, now part of Crunchyroll, dub decided we need to change this up to make it digestible for our Western audience. So they made it this, okay? What are you wearing that for? Oh, these pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves, so I changed clothes. Give it a week, they'll be begging you to change back. Yes, that is the kind of slop that these localizations are.
We love slop. We love weak slop. I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I dropped Crunchyroll. I'm no longer using it. And if people want to cry about like, oh, but you need to pay for it. Not if the service looks like this, bitch. Not if it looks like this. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
Are forcing upon the source material when they're localized by Crunchyroll and others for a Western audience. And a lot of the Japanese users and rights holders have no idea this is happening. This is why original creators rarely notice their work being vandalized to fit some misguided political agenda or a localizer's narcissistic fantasy. The last time we actually got good quality localizations was in the fan sub era. I hope more creators wake up, cut ties with these people, and hire staff who actually love anime, manga, and games. And I like how they point out the narcissistic fantasy, because that is the heart of the issue with these localizers who are nothing more than acting.
Yeah, you can see that when they're called, when you find them and call them out on it, and they say like they can do it better than the original source material. Crunchyroll only pay when the game vault has something good in it. I'm not gonna touch it ever again. I'm done with Crunchyroll. I'm not using it ever again. I'm done. I'd rather than just like do it a different way, if you know what I mean. Skull emoji and pirate flag emoji. But I'm not touching that anymore. I'm done with these people. I'm done. I'm not giving those people money. I want Crunchyroll to die.
Activists, self-important activists who are narcissists, who want to force their agenda on everyone because they believe they have the right to do so. They don't care that they're vandalizing someone else's work. They're just using it as a chance to exercise their narcissism.
Essentially, that's what it is.
But let's continue on and see people actually defending this. Yes, actually defending this. This user saying, Crunchyroll doesn't do any of the dubbing of their anime. You're a effing moron. As this user points out, the source for their claim is Crunchyroll's website itself. Crunchyroll produces anime subtitles using teams consisting of translators, timers, editors, and reviewers. The teams use subtitling software to output a file that includes both the text and the timing cues for when it will be displayed. Yes, so that person is completely wrong. The average Crunchyroll defender, by the way. But here is the last thing I want to talk about. So there is the Anime Awards hosted by Crunchyroll for 2026. It's coming out next month, and this is getting clowned on, rightfully so. People do not trust what is going to go on with the voting because this is the judges panel, and you see a whole host. There's a lot of people, but let's just get some quick examples, right? You have an individual like this. Okay, here's one of the judges, and you can see that there's someone who was a managing editor of GameSpot that is known for making endless anti-anime related articles chastising the medium while, of course, using it for their articles to make money. And when it comes to GameSpot, I remember one article in particular where they were describing the Konosuba movie, and they described some of the choices as deeply transphobic when it came to a chimera in the movie that had male parts but identified as a woman. It was a gag. And when Kazuma, the main character, discovered that this was actually someone who was a biological male, he freaked out, okay? Because he was getting a bit handsy with this creature. And this person thinks that was deeply transphobic. So they're trying to police Konosuba, and their recommendation was to not watch this, by the way. And the irony, of course, is that I went to Crunchyroll's Twitter, and one of the most recent posts is celebrating Konosuba. You can't.
So you're telling me that the judges are likely absolute morons. Why not get proper anime content creators into this instead? Oh wait, right, they would vote for things, they would judge things and put things in there that would go against you, so that's what you don't want. You want probably some safe option to win.
Can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. But here's the one a lot of people are talking about. This is one of the other judges, where you can see this person is the founder of Anime and Chill, the UK's leading anime and gaming community, and that is already concerning given everything that's going on in the UK.
Well, considering what's going on in the UK, yeah, we have a problem here. Oh, by the way, funnily enough, right? Whether you like it or not doesn't matter, right? Right now. Whether you like it or not. But they basically banned step family relationships in fiction. Right? In fiction, by the way, in fiction. Or any corn material, right? Right? Corn material, right? Whether you like it or not doesn't matter right now. But it is in fiction, which I have a question. Is it illegal to own Game of Thrones in the UK now? And by the way, they banned that, but cousin marriage is legal in the UK. Just so you know, you can marry your cousin in the UK, but when it comes to a fictional setting in consent for adult movies, again, whether you like it or not, that's up to you. I have questions how one is okay in affecting real human beings, while the other one can affect real human beings, but it can also be fiction. The fictional content is a problem, but the real cousin marriage isn't. I mean, then again, they bow to their Muslim overlords, so there's that. Very interesting. Very interesting.
UK with censorship and stuff like that. Very, very unfortunate time to be someone in the UK who wants to actually enjoy your media and including social media without being subjected to censorship or even being arrested for things that you want to see that are totally fine and also things you want to say that are just totally fine, but it's wrong speak or wrong think, whatever you want to call it.
Marry cousins. Well, looking at the history of the UK royal incest, it's not surprising. Yeah, too bad they're not doing it because of the UK royals. They're doing it because they're now the United Arab Kingdom or the United Islamic Kingdom. Britistan, Great Britistan. She looks AI, not gonna lie, kind of. I think it's just lighting, honestly.
But her big contribution is to a large scale convention, programming, and curation where there is consultation with entertainment brands on DEI, community engagement, and influencer marketing, which is connecting campaigns with authentic voices in the anime community. Authentic voices. I wonder what that means.
Why do I not believe that? Yeah, she's probably like, oh yeah, look at Frieren here. Somebody's like, look at season 2 Frieren. That seems pretty decent. And she's like, no, not enough gays. Not enough black people. Not enough, there's no trans people. We can't pick that. Next. That's like the thing I'm gonna see. Not enough minorities. We need more minorities. Anime isn't diverse enough. A medium from Japanese for Japanese.
Ladies and gentlemen, but yeah, when your biggest contribution is spreading DEI, I don't think people want to tune in for whatever you're judging. I don't really trust anything you are doing, but this is a long line of failures for Crunchyroll, and they're dealing with multiple fronts here, and it's all their own creation. Like, you reap what you sow. The classic line rings true yet again because, well, they have created all this mess for themselves, whether it's the data breach because of their own failures to protect that, or this new anime awards, given their choices for the judges, on top of the geo blocking, which is a whole nother issue that really highlights what people have been.
Geo blocking is actually really interesting. I don't know why they're doing that. Except that they want to hide something. They've got something to hide. True, the royalties at incest cases, but guess the ratio of it in Pakistan. So, yeah. Yeah. Is it like 60, 70% or 50? I know that in Oman it's like 50%. Oh, they also did Nuke Muse Asia, the YouTube channel that shows free anime legally on YouTube. Funny. Cousin marriage, then regular marriage. They're a lot. They're in Pakistan. They don't believe in family trees. They believe in family recycling. Their family tree is a circle.
Criticizing localizers for years, which has fallen on deaf ears at Crunchyroll, who keeps allowing this to happen. But yeah, hopefully more Japanese users figure this stuff out and learn about it and help do something about it. But for now, that's going to do it for today's video. As always,
Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah, it's interesting. Fun fact: white women and gay people benefit the most from DEI. I didn't even know it existed until I heard white guys complaining about it. I only hear white women complaining about it. To be fair, I don't see it. I rarely see. I see. So in this order, right? First, I see white women complaining about it, like crying and benefit, like that there needs to be more diversity, DEI and stuff, right? Then it's black women. Then it's white dudes. Then it's black dudes, and then everything off of that really isn't that much there. That was I've seen, but I've seen mostly liberal white Karens doing it. Very interesting, but that's what I mostly see. Liberal white Karens complaining about it the most. That's what I've been encountering. It's mostly just white women with white savior complex. Anyways, very interesting. In other words, yeah, cancel your Crunchyroll subscription. That's all I got to say.